Friends, hello. It is October 27th, Monday, and this is going to be a good week in the market. Let's talk about it. So, I hope everyone is well. I really do mean that. Whenever you're watching this Monday, Tuesday, every day something big is happening this week, and that is what is so interesting. So, we could not set up a better bull week, a bull case of a market here this week for what could possibly be taking place each and every day. I expect as the week goes on, things could get better. Today was pretty good, all in all, but still, you know, we're working our way up to some bigger things here. So, obviously, talking about that. Tomorrow, we've got big earnings from SoFi to a lot of other companies. I mean, it's going to be a hefty day with earnings. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is the week here for earnings. This is the biggest one. Wednesday, going into Wednesday, Trump and Xi Jinping here, I can't remember, Chinese president guy, will be talking, and hopefully, it probably won't come to some trade agreement, but hopefully it will just be more of a coloring of what this picture will look like of, this trade tariff deal. And maybe if anything happens, Trump will say, okay, we're not going to do the 100% on tariffs here. We're going to back that off until we work down a deal. The market would love that. On Wednesday, the Feds will be talking, and more than likely we will see rate cuts. So then we've got more earnings. So it's a hefty week here. It's a hefty week. And this will obviously push into next week more than likely. So this week and next week are going to be top-notch weeks for the market, and be excited. Be very excited. That's why I put on the thumbnail. Here we go. Every day has something very exciting for every investor at this point. So one thing that is going right into Richtech here. I want to talk about Richtech because this is a great week for Richtech, really getting into some stuff that's going on. This is a week where it's really weird too, because most of everyone in the market, especially majority of stocks that I talk about publicly on the main channel and the second channel here, probably, if you're not already, you will be more than likely. Everyone will probably be in some sort of profit range, if not above their buy-in price here, as the days go on here in these markets. Things are already gearing up. S&P back up all-time highs. A lot of, like I said, a lot of the stocks I talk about, they're doing well. They're doing very well. But obviously, Richtech still catching up to some old numbers that we had here a few weeks ago, but I'm still very confident that we will see that soon enough. So if you don't know, today in DC, this big event is happening with NVIDIA. Richtech's there. They're showing off equipment, and we could be hearing more about this relationship with NVIDIA and Richtech. There's already a pre-existing relationship there with Richtech with the robots and the chips with NVIDIA. This is happening. So this week, we could see Richtech just talk about more new robots, stuff like that. Obviously, there's a lot of gossip in there about they could be showing some new robots, humanoid robots. Who knows? I don't know. We're hopeful. We're very hopeful. Today, well, obviously, it was today. It was today. It was this morning. Richtech released this news here that the Golden Knights, NFL, they are partnering with them in their stadium, going to help them. So this is great. This is just more of what's going on right now. So that's a big thing. And with this new Golden Knights partnership that we're seeing, there's something that's going on like for the next 3 weeks going into November, where they will be showing off. Richtech and the Golden Knights will be working together, showing. So I say that because it'll just be good publicity here. This will be going on here. So this is great. This is fantastic. So this is going to be a hot few weeks for Richtech here. This is why I'm like, if it's going to push to $10, this is the fuel that will help get it there, no doubt about it. Obviously, nothing's guaranteed in the market, but I mean, this is really good place to start to see if Richtech can get there. Now, pre-market today, going right into the candlestick chart here, pre-market today, I'm going to call this a third push right here. Today, Richtech built itself pre-market, and then it lost a lot of steam when market opened here, but people took profit like crazy. But this is to be expected because, things have been so violent the past 2 weeks with Richtech. Now people are like, okay, they're not trusting it, but now they're starting to trust it a little more because, when the market closed here, there was support with it. So pre-market today, Richtech reached, it looked like it was going to 660. It was like, okay, here we go. And then as the market opened, it just sold off. It just sold. And it sold all the way down to 601. It looked like it was going to hold that, jump back up into a 620 zone. And then after hours here is pushing around this high 5 zone here, like we'll just call it 590. So this is good. Richtech is showing survival. So this essentially, if you want to count pre-market, I don't know. But pre-market, we were almost at 650, and then, it just kind of, it couldn't hold 6 today, but I'm still very confident that we'll get back up into this. This is great. And when you look at the candlestick chart here, we've got this, I think what we're looking at here is we're looking at the new mountain being built here, the new staircase of this. If this, like I said, if this is going to happen, if this $8, $9, $10 new staircase is going to be built, we're looking at the beginning foundation of it right now, where we've got one last week, Thursday, Friday, we had the 1, 2, and big push there. Just today, 3 pushing back up into this $6 zone, 620 zone. This is great. It didn't hold it, but still it's showing us that Richtech can get there pretty easily. So this is what's so interesting is that Richtech is it's holding this pretty high aggressive zone, because this is a high aggressive zone for Richtech right now. Because if you were buying Richtech 4 weeks ago, the high aggressive zone for Richtech then was like $4.80, or a low $5 zone. Now the sell-off, the low that we're dealing with now is where we're at now, this high $5, low $6 range. So that's an aggressive movement here. But this is what's so interesting about this week is because Richtech here is in this place where they're with NVIDIA this week. They're kicking back with them. Any day something be said. This is the thing. It's a lot of secret. It's a lot of whispers. And every day we're just watching this event take place to where Richtech is showing off their technology, and two, obviously a lot of people are saying that, the partnership could be pushed here, more could happen. I definitely believe that's a very real scenario, 100%, where Richtech and NVIDIA will make this relationship even stronger. I don't think that that's not the case. Richtech, NVIDIA is obviously, even, NVIDIA CEO Jensen here has been talking about robotics like crazy. He has not shut up about robotics, and that's why Richtech and NVIDIA working together is such a big deal. I got to be honest, I'm really shocked that NVIDIA is not more money just off hype. I really am. But what it tells me that the robotics side of the stock market has not found a place yet. And I think that's so interesting. I really do. Amazon released this statement here. It was like today or yesterday where they said by 2030, Amazon's going to lay off like 600,000 people because of robots. It was like, oh my God. Now, obviously, Amazon is making their own robots. I'm not even connecting Richtech and Amazon. I'm not even, there's nothing there from what we know. Amazon is doing their own thing with robots. Their robots are like machine robots, like arms, and kind of like the ones you see building cars. But it's telling us though that this is where things are going. As investors, what are we doing? If you are going to do well in the stock market, the number one thing that you will have to do and have to learn about is being a detective into what is going to be new commodities, what's going to be hot into the future with the stock market. I am all about finding great young opportunities in the market, 100%. I think that's why Richtech, a lot of people are looking at it, even BigBear, because they're getting deals, they're getting a lot of attention. They're not making crazy money right now, but there's an argument, there's a conversation that these companies could keep getting bigger and bigger. Things take time to really get somewhere, 100%. This could turn to a beautiful relationship for a lot of people if they're willing to put in the time. So Richtech here is in this very young stage of where we could see robotic stocks go. I really do. I know I talk about this a lot, but I feel like this is something that's really going to take off in the future, where, Richtech here is going to be caught up in this conversation of, just robotics in the market 100%. And no matter which way you slice the pie, there's a lot of things that are already gearing up for robotics to really show themselves just in culture in 2026. I mean, Tesla alone will be releasing Optimus, and Optimus is going to be out there in front of the people. And then, Richtech is already gearing up with a lot of deals this year. I mean, they're getting more partnerships, they're getting deals here. So regardless, at this point, then this next quarterly that's coming out here with Richtech here in January, it's gonna be pretty good. Now, I don't think it's gonna be like $10 billion good or $5 billion good. It's gonna be, at the most, we're hoping, $2 million good. It's gonna be better than what they've done in the past good. So if Richtech can do something to this kind of level and execute another good quarterly and just pass the bar, this is really what is going to help Richtech sustain really just this $6-7 position. But even by January, the bears are having a rough time right now. I don't know if you've noticed this, but this is why there's a lot of arguing in the market right now, where bears are so like the AI bubble is going to pop, and this is the week they're looking at. This is the week right now. This week and next week are the weeks that they are like laser beam focused on quarterlies right now, because we're having, Microsoft, all of them, all the big ones are releasing quarterlies this week. And for the first, and any signs of that they're lacking here, this is when they're going to come out strong. So we're getting into a place right now where you're seeing the market shift into next year, and the S&P 500 is still running crazy hot. I don't think it's. When we talk about the S&P 500 going to 7,000 points at this point in time, I don't think it's that big of a deal. My God, the thing just went to. I mean, look where it went. It's almost at 6.9. 6.9. Look how crazy that is. So just today, the S&P 500 has. Last week we went to 6.5, and people were like, "Oh my God, oh my God." Now we're at all-time record highs once again. This will be one of the biggest years in the history of the stock market and human existence. Don't get that wrong. We may be at 7,000 point range here by somewhere in November. I mean, it's not that crazy. Now, obviously, everything that's going on this week is really gonna help here extensively. So, friends, Richtech here, I think Richtech short term is going to be a very fun stock. There's no doubt about it. If you're day trading it, swing trading it, whatever you're doing, it's going to be a fun stock to hold. Long term, if they can start producing even the slightest bit of margin on executing quarterlies, it's going to be all the argument it needs to keep pushing up in higher numbers, where expectation and FOMO will take over in price zone, where this will get stupid expensive, because once robots enter the stock market, where they become the next hot craze in the market, that's it. The people are going to be buying up robotic stocks. What do you want to say? I don't know. I just watched Terminator last night, weird enough, but it's like, it's happening. I think we are seeing the beginning stages of a lot of these robotic stocks starting to get a lot of attention. I mean, I can't tell you how many people on a daily basis ask me to talk about iRobot company, and I have. That's why I made that video just a little while ago, but no one really watched it. But there's a good handful of robotic stocks, and all of them do different things. The interesting thing about Richtech here is that Richtech is just really one of the only ones right now focusing on the service industry, and they're in a hot place in Vegas. So yeah, I mean, I think this is great. Like I said, I think the short moment burst of the next week or two, 3 potentially, Richtech is looking for the next run. It's looking for the next cliff to walk up here. And I think it's showing some pretty strong aggressive signs right now that's what it's going towards. And then Big Bear, baby Big Bear. So obviously last week we're coming off another airlines deal here. This is fantastic. This has went from, a stock that we were hopeful that something can happen here to this is great. I'm gonna say this. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but this is where I am mentally at right now with Big Bear. I am not expecting anything significantly great out of this next quarterly. I'm hopeful that on November 10th they will come out with a good quarterly, better than expected. Will it beat what they're estimated to do? I don't know, because I don't know how much of these last few partnership deals are going to be on that quarterly. I don't know. We don't know. It's hard to time track, and money, they're not telling us what is been going on here financially with them. If I had to say and be comfortable with what the future holds with Big Bear, that Q4 that will undoubtedly be coming here, that could be the one that cleans up the whole year. So I think there is a little bit of a Hail Mary play here, where more than likely, once we get closer to this Q3 that is coming up November 10th, Big Bear will undoubtedly run up to a $7-8 range, and more than likely people will probably take some profit, and you'll see it sell off a little bit. Now, if they don't hit this quarterly, the stock will sell off once again. But with all of these deals that have been hitting here, all of this stuff that's been going on, it's going to tell us that at least by Q4, this should be the heftiest quarterly we've seen here, undoubtedly. So, and then we've still got a chunk of time before we even get to Q4 here, which says, hey, there's more that can be put on that next quarterly here. What it's looking like right now is that 2026 is going to be a very aggressive year for Big Bear. They are obviously going off after these airline deals. It's not just by coincidence that they got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've kind of lost track of what they've been getting these since the beginning of the year, and it's become a lot more aggressive. Now we've seen 2 show up here in the last 30 days of trading. So Big Bear undoubtedly is going after these airlines, and they have this, and they're big airlines too. They're not just like little mom and pop airlines, they're big ones. So with that, I imagine these contracts are pretty hefty right now. And this is a place where Big Bear is infiltrating. It's fantastic. It's fantastic for investors, because if this is what gets Big Bear to this 40, 45, 50, 55, $60 million revenue for quarterlies, man, we did it. We made it. If you've been here buying Big Bear since 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even $10 by this time next year, and they're showing aggressive quarterlies, positive quarterlies, we did it. We did it. You did it. You as an investor beat the market. You beat most investors that gave up on Big Bear long ago. It's that easy. Now, obviously, we're depending on Big Bear to continue to get these deals and for quarterlies to stay, become aggressive and get bigger here. This could be the tailwinds that we're seeing right now, where this is really what's going on here. Undoubtedly, like I said, we don't know what this next quarterly is going to be. But if the quarterly comes out and it doesn't meet what it needs to be, more than likely we will see the people that are, just not satisfied, impatient, whatever it be, get mad and sell out of Big Bear. And if Big Bear can maintain a $5 to $6 position, this could be the Hail Mary where people buy back in right there at $5, $6. And this is going to be very interesting, because we're going to have to see, what are the quarterlies? Are they really bad? Are they okay bad? Or are they just missed the boat? Where are they? But if people come in right there, buy those up right there, and then when the Q4 comes out and if we can get it to be a positive quarterly, Those are going to be the good ones. Those are going to be the shares right there that people are going to be happy to have. That's going to be a good decision right there. So this is going to be an interesting play, what we're about to see here with BigBear. It's very, very interesting, very exciting. If you've been watching BigBear and you've been aggressive about it, obsessed with it, kind of like I have here, but you're kind of seeing the playbook, what's unfolding here in front of us. So it's amazing. It's great because we've been talking about BigBear here for over a year now, and this is becoming a situation of like, I don't know if this is going to work out, to maybe this can work, to like, this is working. They're getting deals. The new leadership, Kevin here, I've said some things about him, but hey, I mean, they're aggressively growing right now. This has been the biggest year this company has had in, far back as I can trail back in the history of the company, with this aggressive of deals. And two, don't forget, they have those defense deals, so they could get more defense contracts easily. That could easily happen here. So friends, with all that said, I want to wish all of you the best of luck. There are a lot of stocks right now that are just like I said, most people, all of us together are going to be in this situation of everyone's in profit range. I think a lot of people are getting there. If you're not there yet, you're probably close to getting back there. There's a lot of things that aren't still where they were, but they are getting back to those levels, close to them. So it's a very exciting time. Friends, I can't thank you enough for being here. I'm really excited. Be excited, man. We've had a great year in the market. Great year. And it can get even better, what we're about to see here. Be very excited. And obviously, as long as no one tweets anything, says anything negative, things should continue to go well here. So, yeah. Talk to you soon, everyone. Bye-bye.